Hello and welcome to this segment of Sister to Sister. And as you're going to hear, we answer the questions that you might have from a biblical perspective, or at least we try. This one is sensitive, this one is tough. And here it is. It says, what do you say when your son announces he's moving in with his girlfriend? I didn't say anything, and I should have. Corey, what do you say? Your kids are little, but what are you going to say?
I mean, I'm not at this point yet, but when I think about this question, I think it's very important for issues like this or any issues that we're talking to our children about what we believe and where we stand on these issues long before they're in a season of making that announcement. And more importantly than what I believe, what does God think about this? And so I think it's very important that we're laying that out there. That's what we're called to do as parents. That's all we can do as parents. We can't make the decision for them, but we can lay before them the truth of the word and the truth of what God has to say about subjects. And I just think it's very important that, you know, we are introducing, as they mature, we're introducing, this is how Dad and I feel about this, and this is how God feels about this. You may be faced with this in the future. You need to know this.
Well, I think, honestly, there's my mother and dad, that whole generation, the greatest generation. And if you are a member of the greatest generation, we love you. There was no way that I was going to live with George before I got married. Then one generation passes, just one, and things are totally different. And each of you know people who live together before marriage. They say it's economics. What do you say, Pastor?
Boy, I mean, I was taught it was immoral. I mean, that's a kind of a big word, but it's wrong. It's actually, you're sinning against your own body when you have, if you're living in a house together, you're probably having sexual relations. And it's just, it's not the best for you. And I mean, it just feels like so many people are doing it that it's weird if you're not doing it. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. But man, my heart goes out to them because their eyes have to open. They have to get that revelation for themselves that, man, you're defiling what God set up as this beautiful picture. It could really end up hurting you in life. And I don't want people to hurt. I don't want them to struggle. I want them to be close and intimate with God. But it is wrong, and it is sin.
So what do you tell the church girls?
Yeah, because we try to teach them the best that we can, you know, purity and holiness and God's view of marriage. When it comes to certain top levels of leadership, they're not going to be speaking over our girls and women and just really broadcasting how they view life in this sexual orientation that's really not biblical.
Right. This is a tough one.
It's
Flo. I was looking like Roxy had. I didn't want to.
I need some wisdom.
I'm going to come back.
She was looking at me because she knows I'm thinking my mind's going 50 miles a minute. And I said, I don't have anything for this, but I guess I do. You know, it's very difficult to pick one sin over another.
Oh, that's
Come on
so
now.
good.
Come on.
To point to.
Come on.
True.
And, you know, as your children experience things, and I don't know, kids don't always announce when they're going to do something wrong when they know mom and dad don't want to do it.
Right.
So they might not even announce it. But I was thinking, wow, it just popped in my mind, you know, as Amy was speaking, because they're always, you know, you guys stir me up to think about things while we're just sitting here. I thought about the prodigal son.
yeah.
Right.
That father gave the son his inheritance and let him go.
Right.
Sometimes we have to warn them,
Yep.
warn them of the consequences. Maybe this isn't God's best for them, but we have to love them unconditionally.
Yes, amen.
So the father, which I can't fathom this story, letting a son go, and yet bringing him back in after he's learned his lesson. Because we're all prodigals. We've all done something wrong in our lives. Yep. So I know this, for right now, this season, people are moving in. Older people are moving in because they don't want to share their pensions and social securities, whatever they're doing. And so it's very prevalent in this culture. Yeah. Sometimes we got to look not past the sin, but at the person as the Father did with the prodigal son.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Flo, do you have some wisdom?
You know, I think my sisters have covered it really well. The only thing that I would add to it is take the sex out of it for a moment, because you don't have to live together to have sex.
That's right.
And I love what she already said about, you know, sin is sin. But how about, you know, if it were my son, and I've had to deal with this, if it were my son, one of the conversations I would have is, do you have a car? And they both would say to me, yes. And then they would have a license on that car. That would be my question. Do you have a dog? And they both would say to me, yes. Do you have a license for that dog? So where is your value for this person that you are considering spending your life together with? And for my sisters, I would say, why is it that you so freely are willing to give all of the gifts and all of the benefits that come with being a wife for nothing? It's an old saying, why buy the cow if you get the milk for free?
And I am going to end with that. Thank you, Flo. Thank you, sisters. And mostly thank you for tuning in to hear our hearts to your home. We'll see you next time on Sister to Sister.